We live in a world that never stops. Commitments, deadlines, notifications, and worries pull us into a whirlwind of thoughts about the past and the future. But what if the problem isn't the world, but the fact that we're trying to run faster than it? Imagine your mind as a GPS navigator. The issue? It's always recalculating routes. One moment stuck in the past, the next trying to predict the future. But the only place it can truly guide you is the present. So, why do we insist on living in autopilot mode? What if the key to a fulfilling life is already in your mental pocket, just waiting for you to press the button? How many times have you caught yourself thinking about what you need to do tomorrow while having dinner with your family? Or reliving an old argument while driving to work? These moments, stolen by a restless mind, pull us away from what truly matters, the present. This is where mindfulness, or being fully present, comes in. More than just a technique, it's an invitation to rediscover the magic of the present moment. Imagine being able to slow down, even if just for a few moments, and notice the small wonders around you, the sound of rain falling, the warmth of a coffee cup in your hands, or the smile of someone you love. These moments aren't just beautiful. They have the power to transform your life. But what exactly is mindfulness? And how can it help you live better? Let's explore together. The power of a simple breath. Before we dive into mindfulness, here's a quick experiment. Take a deep breath, hold it for 4 seconds, and exhale slowly. Now notice, did the world change? Number? But you did. For 10 seconds, you pause the chaos. That's the first superpower of mindfulness, realizing you don't need a vacation in the Maldives to find peace. Sometimes a simple breath is your portable refuge. If one conscious breath can do this, imagine what a few daily minutes can transform. What is mindfulness, and why does it work? Mindfulness is the art of being fully present, aware of where you are and what you're doing, without being overwhelmed by distractions or turbulent emotions. It's not about achieving a perfect state of calm, but about learning to navigate life's waves with more clarity and balance. And here's the amazing part. Science backs up the benefits of this ancient practice. Studies show that mindfulness strengthens areas of the brain responsible for self-control, reduces stress, improves sleep quality, and even boosts the immune system. In other words, it's not just philosophy, it's pure neuroscience. 3 simple mindfulness exercises to start today. You don't need to become a Zen monk to practice mindfulness. The beauty of this practice lies in its simplicity. Let me introduce you to these exercises by sharing real-life stories that show just how transformative mindfulness can be. Exercise 1. Breathing as an anchor. Let's start with Emma, a busy executive who always felt like she was running on autopilot. Between meetings, tight deadlines, and a packed schedule, she rarely had a moment to pause. One day, completely exhausted, she decided to try something new. Before every meeting, she dedicated just 5 minutes to conscious breathing. At first, it felt silly. How can 5 minutes make a difference? She wondered. But soon she noticed that these short pauses helped her enter meetings with more focus and calm. She started listening better, making clearer decisions, and even felt lighter at the end of the day. Mindfulness not only boosted her productivity, but also transformed her well-being. Emma realized that by calming her mind, she could see opportunities where she once saw only problems. Have you ever tried pausing like this? Here's how Emma did it. It's simple. Breathing as an anchor. Breathing is one of the most powerful tools to bring you back to the present moment. Try this. Find a quiet spot. Even your desk will do. Close your eyes and focus on the air entering and leaving your body. Count to 4 as you inhale, hold for 4 seconds, and exhale slowly to 8. This exercise acts like a reset button for your brain. Use it whenever you feel overwhelmed. Exercise 2. Mindful observation. Now, let's move on to the next exercise, mindful observation. To help you understand its impact, here's Jake's story. Jake was an amateur photographer who, ironically, had lost the ability to notice details around him. He was so focused on capturing the perfect shot that he stopped paying attention to the small wonders of everyday life. For him, everything became about technique, adjusting the ISO, framing the subject, editing later. But something was missing. One day, during a walk in the park, Jake left his camera at home. At first it felt strange, like being naked without his lens. But then, he began to truly look. He noticed the vibrant colors of flowers glowing under the sunlight, as if each petal had been painted by a meticulous artist. He watched clouds drift across the sky, their shapes shifting slowly like dancers on an endless stage. That's when it hit him. Maybe beauty wasn't just in what he could photograph, but in what he could feel while observing. That flower didn't need to be immortalized digitally. It was magical simply by existing. And those clouds? They weren't just water vapor floating. They were poetry in motion. This experience changed how Jake viewed the world. He started applying this same curiosity to other moments in life. In the shower, he began to feel the water cascading over his skin, carrying his worries away. During conversations, he paid closer attention to gestures and tone of voice, noticing nuances he'd previously missed. It was as if he'd gained a new pair of eyes. Or rather, finally cleaned the dusty lenses he'd been wearing for years. The secret behind the perfect photo. Do you know someone like Jake? Always trying to capture the perfect moment and, ironically, forgetting to live it? Now, think about this. Are you also living like that? Trying to mentally register the next success, the next problem solved, but forgetting to be in the now? The metaphor of dusty glasses. It's like wearing dirty glasses and getting used to the blurry vision. Mindfulness is the cloth that cleans your lenses, revealing that the world never lost its color. You were just too distracted to notice. Today, observe something mundane as if it were the first time. The reflection of light on a wall, the sound of your own breath. I bet you'll be surprised. Imagine we all go through life wearing invisible glasses. Over time, these lenses get covered in dust. Distractions, automatic routines, expectations. Practicing mindful observation is like taking a soft cloth and wiping them clean. Suddenly, the world becomes sharper, more colorful, and full of textures you never noticed before. And here's the best part. You don't need to do anything extraordinary. It can be as simple as noticing the sound of rain tapping against the window or savoring the aroma of morning coffee. These seemingly small moments, when fully experienced, can bring immense connection and gratitude. How to practice mindful observation. Seeing the world with beginner's eyes is easier than you think. While walking, observe the colors of flowers or the movement of clouds. In the shower, feel the water flowing over your skin. During conversations, pay attention to gestures and tone of voice. This practice expands your perception and creates a deeper connection with the world. Exercise 3. Acceptance without judgment. Before we dive into the final exercise, let's hear Sarah's story about letting emotions flow. Sarah was a yoga teacher who taught mindfulness techniques to her students, but struggled to apply them in her own life. She was great at guiding others to accept emotions without judgment, but when it came to herself, it was a different story. One day, Sarah had one of those tough moments. Her car broke down on the way to work. She missed an important meeting, and to top it off, she received a text from a friend that felt more like criticism disguised as advice. Anger, frustration, and sadness bubbled up inside her like boiling water in a covered pot. She wanted to scream, cry, or just disappear for a few hours. But then, something curious happened. Amid the emotional storm, she remembered an exercise she'd learned years ago during a meditation retreat, visualizing each thought and emotion as a leaf floating down a river. Curious to see if it still worked, she decided to give it a try. She sat quietly for a couple of minutes, though it felt like an eternity, and began observing her emotions. First came anger, strong and hot, like a dark, heavy leaf being carried by the current. Then frustration appeared, swirling in circles before moving on. Finally, sadness arrived, light and delicate, like a yellowed leaf drifting slowly. Sarah realized she didn't need to fight these emotions. She didn't have to push them down or pretend they didn't exist. All she had to do was let them pass, like clouds in the sky or leaves on a river. And amazingly, doing so brought immediate relief. It was as if she'd lifted a huge weight off her shoulders, a weight she hadn't even realized she was carrying. The Netflix effect of emotions. Sarah struggled to control her emotions until she discovered that the secret wasn't control, it was observation. Imagine your emotions as Netflix series. Some are heavy dramas, others are fleeting comedies. The problem is that instead of watching and letting the episode pass, you mentally hit the repeat button. Mindfulness is the remote control you didn't know you had. It doesn't stop emotions from appearing, but it lets you decide, am I going to binge watch this drama or let it go? Which emotional series have you been repeating without realizing? The river of emotions metaphor. Imagine your emotions as a river. Sometimes it's calm and serene, other times it's turbulent and fast-flowing. But no matter the state of the river, its waters always keep moving forward. The same goes for our feelings. They arise, stay for a while, and then leave. The problem is that we often cling to them, trying to control the current or sinking along with the leaves. When you resist emotions, judging them or trying to push them away, it's like swimming against the current. You waste energy, get tired, and end up exhausted without getting anywhere. But when you accept the natural flow of the river, everything becomes lighter. You don't have to like every leaf that passes, but you also don't need to fight them. How to practice acceptance without judgment. Ready to give it a try? The next time you feel a difficult emotion, anger, sadness, anxiety, follow these steps. 1. Take a deep breath and acknowledge what you're feeling. Say to yourself, I'm feeling name the emotion right now, and that's okay. 2. Visualize the emotion as a leaf floating down a river. Observe it without trying to change or push it away. 3. Let it drift away, just like a leaf disappearing around a bend in the river. Today's challenge: choose a moment today to practice this exercise. It could be when you're stuck in traffic, upset with someone, or even happy about something unexpected. The goal is to observe your emotions without judgment and let them flow. Afterward, come back and share how it went. What did you learn by allowing your emotions to simply come and go? By practicing acceptance without judgment, inspired by Buddhist teachings, you'll find peace in embracing your emotions rather than resisting them. And if you know someone struggling with their own emotional currents, tag them here. Let's build a support network to navigate this river of life together. The secret garden of the mind. Now, a scientific revelation that seems magical. Mindfulness physically alters your brain. That's right. It reshapes your mind like a gardener tending to a forgotten plot. The hippocampus, responsible for memory, flourishes like a garden watered with mindfulness. The amygdala, which triggers the stress alarm, shrinks like a fire that goes out when you stop feeding it. And brain connections? They become bridges of light, illuminating paths that were once dark trails. If your brain is a garden, what have you been watering lately? Worries or presents? Have you ever considered that the practice of mindfulness can literally sculpt your brain? It sounds incredible, but it's true. Imagine your brain as a garden. When you practice mindfulness regularly, it's like planting vibrant flowers in areas that were once dry or overgrown with weeds. Research shows that this practice not only nourishes the brain, but also transforms its structure in measurable ways. Let's explore this with some metaphors that make it all clearer and more human. 1. Memory and learning. Watering the roots of knowledge. When we practice mindfulness, we're watering the roots of the trees that support our memory and learning abilities. Studies indicate that this practice increases the density of gray matter in areas linked to memory and learning, such as the hippocampus. It's like giving fertilizer to the plants that store our best moments and skills. They grow stronger and healthier, ready to help us when we need them most. 2. Reducing the fire of stress. Extinguishing the amygdala's alarm. Now, think of the amygdala as a fire alarm in the brain. When we're stressed or anxious, this alarm goes off non-stop even when there's no real fire. But mindfulness acts like a silent firefighter, reducing the activity in this region. Over time, the alarm goes off less frequently, allowing you to navigate life with more calm and less reactivity. 3. Brain connections. Building bridges of light. Our brain is a complex network of roads and bridges. Mindfulness works like a skilled engineer, building new connections between brain regions that promote mental clarity and emotional balance. It's like lighting up dark tunnels or paving rough paths. These bridges of light help us think more clearly, feel more deeply, and act with more intention. In other words, mindfulness isn't just good for the soul, it's a true gym for the brain. And the best part? You don't need to be a neuroscientist to reap these benefits. Just start slow, day by day. 7-Day Mindfulness Challenge, planting peace in daily life. Ready to put all this into practice? Let's embark together on the 7-Day Mindfulness Challenge, an invitation to cultivate small moments of presence that can blossom into big changes. Here's the plan. Day 1. Dedicate 5 minutes to conscious breathing. Think of it as giving a warm hug to your tired mind. Day 2. Observe something ordinary with full attention. A cup of coffee, a tree, the sky. See these things as if it were the first time. Day 3. Have a meal in silence, savoring each bite. It's like dancing with flavors on the stage of your mouth. Day 4. Acknowledge a difficult emotion without judgment. Visualize it as a leaf floating down a river, naturally drifting away. Day 5. Walk for 10 minutes, noticing the sounds and sensations around you. Let your feet tell stories about the ground they touch. Day 6. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. It's like lighting candles in a dark room, bringing light to your heart. Day 7. Share in the comments what changed in your week. Celebrating your victories is like picking the first flowers from your inner garden. The Now Experiment. Up for a challenge? For 7 days, practice a small act of mindfulness. Not to calm down, but to discover what you've been missing while being too busy. Feeling anxious? Place your hand on your chest and feel the rhythm of your heart. It's beating for you, even when you forget about it. Feeling bored? Look at the sky for 30 seconds. The universe is in constant motion, and you're a part of it. What was the most present moment you experienced today? Share in the comments. Maybe your insight will inspire someone who's trying to come home to the now. I know that living in the modern world often feels like navigating a stormy sea. The wind of stress blows hard, the waves of anxiety toss us around, and sometimes we feel like we're about to capsize. But inner peace isn't a distant destination. It's the lighthouse that guides our boat back to a safe harbor, and mindfulness is the compass that helps us find it. Remember the wise words of Lao Tzu. If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. This quote is a powerful reminder. The present is the only place where we can truly find refuge. Why not start today? Take a deep breath, let go of expectations, and allow yourself to live fully. Open the doors of your heart to the now, as if opening the windows of your home to let in the sunlight. So this video is an invitation to return to the present and rediscover the magic of the now. Revisit these simple practices like conscious breathing, mindful observation, and acceptance without judgment. Know that it's possible to cultivate calm, clarity, and connection with yourself in any situation and circumstance of life. Even science confirms it and gives you a solid foundation to adopt this practice that transforms not only the mind, but also the brain, promoting lasting well-being. Have you noticed how small moments of presence can change your day? What was the most present moment you experienced today? Which emotional episode have you been repeating without realizing? How would it feel to just observe it and let it go? If you could practice mindfulness for just 5 minutes today, what would you choose to observe more closely? So, are you ready to embrace the present? Leave your yes in the comments, and let's embark on this journey together. Comment, what was the most present moment you experienced today? Together, we can transform daily chaos into an oasis of peace. If this video brought important reflections for you, like and share. Tag a friend who needs to read this, and start this journey together. That way, more people can discover the power of the now. Participate. Subscribe to receive more practical mindfulness tips every week. Want to dive deeper into mindfulness practice? Download our exclusive ebook with simple exercises to apply in your daily life. The link is in the first pinned comment. And don't stop here. Choose one of the videos on the screen now and continue your journey toward a more present and conscious life. Let's embark on this transformation together.